Okay, hey everyone. So we are starting on project 2 and we're going to make expressive dialogue posters. The work here is done by two students from my class last semester. On the left is a poster of Black Panther, the Marvel movie. Um, Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. And the poster on the right is of the Disney film The Emperor's New Groove. And this expressive dialogue poster is really meant to be more of a loose project. We are going to have more um, control of a lot of typographic variables. And the reason for that is we really want to get students for this project to start really exploring a lot of the options that you have on Illustrator to manage type and to manage color and to manage all of these like things, because in our future projects they're going to be more restrictive. So for this one, it's we really want to see students exploring all the options that they have with typography in this project. So the problem is we are trying to figure out how to use typography, typographic variables, 2D principles to express the personality, emotions, and voices of a dialogue between two characters as a way of promoting a movie, play, TV show, or book. And I have an example of this one on the right, The Emperor's New Groove.
So, is everything ready for tonight? Oh yeah, I thought we'd start off with soup and light salad, and then see how we feel after that. That, Peter. Do you know? Oh, right. The poison for Cusco. The poison chosen specially to kill Cusco. Cusco's poison. That poison? Yes, that poison.
This character in this typography. Oh, right. The poison for Cusco, the poison chosen especially to kill Cusco, Cusco's poison, and then there's that little gap. That poison? Yes, that poison. And the way right here, the you know, and the way the transparency kind of just fades and the text just gets smaller. Yeah, this one is awesome. So that's what we're going to be doing. You're going to choose a dialogue between two characters. Make sure the characters are very distinct from each other because that's going to be easier to express. And you can pick something from a movie, a play, a TV show, or a book. And if you're going to do something like a movie or a TV show, if you just Google like the transcript of the movie, then you'll be able to get the text. And if you're working with a book, well, the text is right there in front. So the project objectives. So the all objectives are evaluated based on how well they support and reflect keywords for characters and the emotional context of the entire conversation. So you're really thinking about the two characters, and then you're thinking about the whole scene as a total, as it is completed. So a scene that is very like hectic and chaotic, that's going to have a composition that's really hectic and chaotic. But if it's just maybe a normal average conversation, then the poster is going to look average and normal. So yeah, you're really thinking about those three things: the two characters and the conversation as a whole. Things we're going to be looking at even more is skillfully managing typographic variables. So the way your typeface choice, your kerning, line spacing, word spacing, text size, and weight. And basically everything that you can do with the letters themselves, um, play with them, manipulate them. Because this project is a very like free for all project, and the rules are very loose in this one. And that's mainly because we want you to start really exploring all the different variables that you have to work with. So we want to see like very extreme of everything: kerning, line spacing, word spacing, all of that. Number two, skillfully manage 2D principles and design elements like color palette, transparency, compositional balance, scale, pattern, hierarchy, and all of the stuff that kind of falls in the toolbox of 2D principles. And then three, skillfully manage legibility and readability of the text, forcing the reader to engage with the content quickly or slowly, to read down a stack of one-word lines, or across a single long line. These affect legibility and readability, but also can express something important about voice and the meaning of the text. So yeah, even though this is expressive, we still want to be able to read the words. And it's okay if we can't read the words um, immediately, but as long as they're still legible if we look at them. And I think this looks like something off of Shrek, but I thought it was interesting how this person used kerning right here, and kerning is the space between letters, and they push these letters so close to each other that they are creating layers, and it also emphasizes the word. And then another thing that I liked about this one is um, the way they use this curly like baseline. Like the baseline is not straight like we normally see like here, but it's just like a curl. And it kind of fits, it really expresses this character's voice. Oh, you both have layers. And the way the student used kerning here where it's close, but then it slowly opens up and then the letter gets smaller, closer, and then just kind of fades out. So this is a very good example of a nice way of expressing a character. Okay, so yeah, we have kerning, which is the space between the letters, and then leading is like the space between lines of text. And these are kind of the things you're working with. Kerning, layering, line spacing, word spacing, all of that. And we'll get into a lot of that throughout this project. Okay, the requirements. The final design is going to be two 11 by 17 posters. So you'll have poster A, and the difference between poster A and B is one will be designed with a grid and the other one without it. But first you're going to do one without a grid, and then once you get like that design down, you're going to put a grid on it, and then you're going to use the grid to carefully align things. So yeah, two posters, and then the content, you're going to have the quotation, so the two-person dialogue, the character names, and the source, so wherever it's coming from, if it's the title of a play, a film, or a book. And the titles and the character names are going to be second hierarchy. So what I mean by that is, in this example of Black Panther, the characters' names are down here, Black Panther and Killmonger from Black Panther. And second hierarchy is that it's not competing with the most important part, which is the dialogue. Okay, then you can work with a maximum of 4 colors and no gradients. It's not written here, but do not use gradients. You can only use 4 colors. And work in Illustrator. So this is going to be our first like digital project. So work in Illustrator. You can do sketches on paper, or if you have a tablet and you'd rather use the tablet for sketches, you can do that as well. But make sure you're saving all your sketches for your process sheet at the end of all of this. And you can use up to 3 typefaces from the good type list, and that good type list is posted into iCollege in a folder called resources. If only use the typefaces on that list. If it's not listed there, do not use the typeface. And then your last requirement is do not warp or distort the letters. The typefaces need to be exactly the way they are from the get-go. So a mistake that a lot of students make is they stretch out like the letter Y because they're trying to make it big and then it distorts it. So a way to keep that from distorting is hold down Shift if you're going to change the scale, and that way you're not going to lose or like distort the letter. And these are like little examples of the process and how that's going to work. So process one, you establish the content, this person the Joker or Harley Quinn, and I'll make a video for the process as well. But this is just kind of giving you like a quick overview of what the process looks like. So yeah, establishing content, finding the typeface, doing thumbnails, and then you'll do a process 4, so you'll do digital variations. And then process 5, you'll do color and final revisions. And I'll do another video talking about these a little bit more. And then your final deliverables, you're going to have two 11 by 17 posters posted into Slack. And then remember two of them, so one designed with no grid, and then the other one designed with a grid. And then your 11 by 17 process page as a PDF. So you'll be keeping track of all your process 1 through 5, and then putting them in one PDF. And make sure it's combined, and it's combined PDF. And then you'll just name your files P2A, your last name, P2B, your last name, and then your process. And then your evaluation criteria, so what I'm kind of looking at and what you should be thinking about. So this project is worth 20 points, and I'm going to be looking at your process, your research, your sketches and revisions. And the way I think about sketches and revisions is I want to see like a lot of variability. Like I want to see that you're not just like sticking with one idea and then doing like small little revisions of that, but you're really trying to just go from left to right at a really hyper speed. Like you're just trying everything out. And the way you do that is because you have to have, I think for this one you have to have 20 thumbnails. Once you get to like thumbnail 10, you're gonna start really thinking about different ways to come up with thumbnails. And by having by having like a requirement of 20 thumbnails, that's really gonna like push you and exercise your thought process. And then manage type variables. So I'm looking at the way you're working with color, size, typeface style, and this is how I grade this. I grade these through your process sheets. So I'll be looking at your process sheets and I'm going to be like, oh, okay, this person did try 10 different color palettes. This person was thinking about the size of the text in various ways. And then these are a little bit more abstract, but yeah, like your expressive form for each character. If your character is a very like straight-laced person or like who loves the rules, like Squidward from SpongeBob, Squidward is going to look a lot different. His dialogue is going to look a lot different than someone like SpongeBob. So Squidward might, there's a lot of characteristics that Squidward has that differs extremely from SpongeBob. So I'm looking at each expressive quality in each character. And then the expressive form, so the overall dialogue. So what does the overall poster look like? What does it feel like? Is it dark because your scene is from Batman? Is it bright because your scene is from like I don't know, a SpongeBob? Like it's set in Bikini Bottom, and yeah. So I'm thinking about that and whenever I'm going to be grading these. And then craftsmanship and requirement, just making sure that you're not, um, you know, distorting the typefaces, that you're making your poster 11 by 17, and yeah, your poster isn't pixely when you submit it. Okay, I think that's it.